Hello, my pandemic lockdown friends. It's me, the Anonymous Patriot, and welcome back to another riveting episode. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Excuse me. A major itch on my nose. Okay. Another riveting episode of Put That in Your Pipe and Smoke It. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to start with these damn Democrat governors, and their lockdown orders. I knew it was coming. When they kept giving these lockdown orders, with Sisolak, our governor, kept giving them. I knew this was coming, so I kept warning him on Twitter every day. Steve Sisolak, I call him Governor Sissy Sack. Anyway, I warned him every day that he's driving towards protests. Well, sure enough, yesterday, in both his mansion in Carson City and his one in Vegas, driving protesters surrounded it, just kept driving around it, honking and waving their signs, calling him a tyrant, and screaming that he should be arrested. I warned him it was coming. Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, same thing. The governor is seeing this major spike in driving protesters around her mansion. It's also happening in Baltimore, Maryland, which just shows me that Americans do still have the spirit behind them when it comes to their Bill of Rights, their Constitution, and dealing with a tyrant within their local government. Because, as patriots like me have always known, it wasn't going to be anyone in the federal government that did this. We knew from the beginning that if the Democrats pulled this shit, they were going to do it at a local government, state government level, state by state, so they can push their narrative farther and farther, and more states would go along. Well, it's not working. People are protesting. People are mad. People have had enough of this, okay? The Bill of Rights literally forbids this, including the lockdowns, the closing of the businesses, and we'll get to some other stuff later. But it's like it literally forbids this. Okay, so moving back on to the Bill of Rights, to New Jersey's governor. He says that even though when he was sworn into office, he took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution like all governors do in the United States, he says, quote, that when he extended his lockdown orders, he never even considered the Constitution. Then says, quote, it's above his pay grade, whatever that means. Above his pay grade? Think about that for a minute, patriots. Gotta think hard. Okay, moving on to the saddest part of this week. Yay, we got our stimulus package with a paycheck protection program, and then all Americans are getting a check. But paycheck protection program is broke. Pelosi refuses to fund any more to it, even though it's seriously needed right now, because as of yesterday, 22 million Americans are now on unemployment. Paycheck protection program's already broke. Okay? No more small businesses can sign up for it. It's out of money. Pelosi won't give it any more money. Pelosi is sitting back fighting, saying she will fight tooth and nail that it gets no more money unless she gets everything she wants this time. Green New Deal, vote by mail, all of it. What the fuck? Why are these Democrats playing games with the American people's lives? Don't they understand that people who are at health risk are dying from this shit? Do they understand? I don't even think they care. I mean, let's move on to the next thing. Okay. Let's move on. So, in a lot of these states now that are on lockdown, let's say you're stuck at home, you've had all those little projects you want to get done. Maybe repaint your house, maybe even just repaint a room. Maybe put in a garden outside and get ready for summer. Grow some vegetables and shit this year. Can't do it. Not allowed to purchase garden seeds. Not allowed to purchase home improvement supplies such as paint and other things like that. But you can still purchase alcohol in these states. Alcohol is still totally, relevantly essential to them for some reason, even though it is causing a spike now in domestic violence, of course, and we'll get to that later. So, it's causing a spike in recovered alcoholics relapsing. I mean, and God, what are you supposed to do? Sit home watching Netflix and drinking booze all day? Can't do nothing. You can't really leave your house except for essential trips to the grocery store, the doctor's office, shit like that. They don't really want you to leave your house. But now you can't even buy home improvement shit so that while you're locked down at home, you can at least make your home a little nicer. That's what I was going to do. I was going to buy home improvement shit when my stimulus comes in next week. Okay? And do some work to my home. But I can't. Home improvement is totally out of the question now. Okay? I can't until at least the end of the month, the 30th, when hopefully Sissy Sack here in Nevada will rescind his lockdown orders and not make people in Nevada have to literally arm up and go arrest him ourselves for being a tyrant. We're hoping he doesn't make it come to that. Anyway. Okay. So. Alright. Let's talk about crime during the stay-home orders. Okay? And while it's true, most crime is down. Okay? Most crime is down. We still have a spike in looting. And there's also a huge spike, and I mean a huge spike, in people breaking into these closed stores at night, trying to steal what they can. There's even people breaking into houses of people who've left town during this, trying to steal what they can. So there's just a huge spike in all of it. And then there's been nationwide, I said I was going to talk about domestic violence. Nationwide, domestic violence is up 63% during these lockdown orders. 63%, huh? Wow. And last, we're going to talk about how Trump has finally announced that he believes, too, what they're saying about how this virus could have been created in a lab in Wuhan. How it's not just something from a bat, from eating bat soup or snake soup at a wet market, or even live mice at a wet market in China, that it was actually created in Wuhan in a virology lab that was funded by the United States during the Obama administration, when Dr. Fauci was head of some organization back then. They gave them a $3.7 million grant to study the coronavirus, which has been around a long time, but this is a mutated version that a lot of the experts are looking at now and saying it could have only been created in a lab. So like I was saying, Trump's finally on board with investigating this Wuhan lab. See, what they did with a $3.7 million American taxpayer grant to study the coronavirus, because it's looking more and more like this was developed rather than just by accident, and that it was released on purpose as some type of bioweapon to base it maybe right there in Wuhan to start, but as some type of bioweapon to take us down because we were kicking their butts in the trade war. I mean, think about this. China banned domestic travel in and out of Wuhan within China, but then they did not ban international travel out of Wuhan to all other countries. Think about that. They knew it was dangerous, but they let it out nationwide. This was on purpose. This was not a pandemic. This is a planned-demic. Okay? It was planned to take down the economy of a man who has basically completely rebuilt it and put America first. And mind you, it was an economy that was setting record highs in job numbers and record lows in unemployment that hadn't been seen in almost 50 years. So, in conclusion, what it's looking more and more like is that the Chinese created a virus. And the way it's said they did it is that they took a SARS-infected bat and injected some of its DNA into a corona-infected mouse and created a new hybrid strain of the coronavirus. This is like COVID-19 we're dealing with. It still has a lower kill rate than the seasonal flu, but nonetheless, it's not good for any of the American population to die. I mean, you know that? I know that. We all know that, okay? It's not good for anyone to die, because the American population is a strong nation of people, okay? No one should be dying in America, okay, unless it's their time. So, here's the deal. They created it, they released it. This was a biochemical attack by the Chinese. This should be considered a declaration of war. But with Trump being the kind of president he is, instead, it's going to be a declaration of trade war. Instead of manufacturing jobs in China, instead of creating our medications in China, instead of creating our medical supplies like our N95 masks in China, we can bring all that back to the United States, and we can kick their asses in the trade war so bad we send those motherfuckers back to the Stone Age. By the time we're done, nobody, no country in the world will ever trust China again. And as well they shouldn't. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Leave me in the comments section. Drop a like, subscribe. Share this video. Help me get the message out there. To all my Patriot friends, as I always say, mull it over. You can all put that in your pipe and smoke it. Peace out, my pothead Patriots.